Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Being Seattle Hemp Fest and being the largest, most sophisticated cannabis policy reform event in the world, we try to make things up to you. We're going to do a countdown for the 420 here and all that stuff, but I'll tell you, we felt so bad about the fact that Tommy couldn't be here that we decided to do something about it.
There's been this rumor floating around, and I'm going to address it right now. I got to tell you people that I decided to quit smoking. And then I realized, hey, I'm not a quitter. Some people. First of all, I want to thank all the vendors. I want to thank the Seattle Hemp Fest for having me out here. I want to thank all these volunteers who work so hard for no money. A lot of volunteers around here. I want to thank the police for keeping the peace. I want to thank some people who don't get a lot of credit and really deserve it. I want to thank those people walking around here selling magic cookies, brownies. They don't get the credit they deserve. You guys are definitely the most energized pot smokers I've ever run across. I think it was appropriate to start here in Seattle because it's the home of the place where the young and the young of heart took to the streets and flashed a giant neon sign saying, "We're not putting up with this shit anymore. WTO, go home. Find an island." It's because there's an amazing propaganda machine in this country. Don't you think? I mean, it's a propaganda machine that makes us actually believe that we live in a democracy when we know we don't live in a democracy. I mean, it's a propaganda machine that talks about us living in a free country when we know we're not living in a free country. You're free to do whatever you want to do as long as it doesn't go against what the government wants you to do. So how are we going to turn that around? I say things like this: the Seattle Hemp Fest are the way to turn this thing around. Every one of you people who showed up here today, you're making a statement, and I'm damn proud of you. And you know what I have to say? Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And I think it will change. I think it'll change. Thank you all for coming out here today. It really warms my heart.
Say your name with one breath left. struggle for freedom, they'll put us to the test. So it's time to exercise our rights and put on a hemp fest. And we'll educate the youth who soon will rule the land. Cause it's just a matter of time, and it's time to take a stand. Cause it's a losing battle, one that money can't win. Been going on for years, just keeps right on going. Like a Cold War with the commies, prohibition and the like. You can throw us all in prison, but you cannot win the fight. Cause it's a losing battle.
Good things for good people. This man Jim knows. Take a good look at him. He's been through it.
This is Vivian McPeak at Seattle Hemp Fest here at Myrtle Edwards Park. I'm with THC TV and Seattle Hemp Fest, and we just had Woody Harrelson speak, enjoying some munchies now and some refreshments. We've got the herbivores, our house band playing. We've got so many people out there, I don't know how to count them.
Hey, Mr. Politician, time to wake up.
Mr. Henry Ford in 1941 with Popular Mechanics magazine showing off his car made from hemp.
Well, come climb the mountain with me. Come see what we can see. Come climb the mountain with me, and then we will all be free. Some men are born to lead, some men have destiny. Some men plant the seed, and some men set it free.
We had 92,000 cars a day, thousands of people parking behind the FBI building, and they arrested us and they said, you cannot do this. I said, well, I'm not going to pay you a fine and go on probation. So I did 15 days in prison rather than give them a $5 fine.
Wow, you know, we had that's kind of like telling Jesus you can't practice on Sunday. It was a fine line.
So come climb the mountain with me. Come see what we can see. Come climb the mountain with me, and then we will all be free.
Jack here and Ed Adair.
Well, hi, guys.
They must be on the hemp tour. Are you on the hemp tour?
One man said we must hear. One man's voice was clear. One man heard the call. His vision speaks for all.
The #1 plant for paper, fiber, and fuel from the natural cycle had been outlawed. That somehow the synthetic cycle had won, when the #1 thing in the natural cycle could outproduce it and completely clean up the atmosphere. So my partner, Captain Ed, who had become my partner in 1973 and doing the politics of this, said we have to teach everybody in the world. So we went around and told everybody. Yeah. But it was a slow process.
So come open your eyes with me, and come see what you can see. It's time for the world to know the emperor wears no clothes. Come open your eyes with me. It's time for you to see. It's time for the world to know the emperor wears no clothes. It's time for the world to know the emperor wears no clothes. The emperor wears no clothes. The emperor wears no clothes. The emperor wears no clothes.
Well, I'm proud to say that our representative of the United States Congress has stood up for our rights and represented cannabis truthfully in the face of the drug war machine. So I want to thank Congressman Earl Blumenauer, for coming out here today. It's my great pleasure to introduce him. Welcome, Congressman Earl Blumenauer.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to spend a few minutes with you this afternoon. Oregon has led in innovation nationally. We protected our beaches, the bottle bill, land use. 40 years ago, Oregon was the first state to decriminalize marijuana. And I was an impressionable young legislator, actually voted on that legislation. And there was another debate that occurred during that session. It was led by a conservative Republican pig farmer from Hermiston, Oregon, a remarkable gentleman named Stafford Hansel, who had a distinguished career as a long-term state legislator. He was active in administration. He helped protect the land use system. But Stafford gave what I think was one of the most compelling speeches I've ever heard in my life. Here was a conservative Republican, didn't smoke, drink, swear, who got up and led the state legislature through a tutorial. He pointed out a package of cigarettes that killed 400,000 people a year that was legal. He had a bottle of Jack Daniels. I think it may have been the only time he'd ever held a bottle of liquor. And he pointed out that for some people, alcohol was toxic. And it contributed to the deaths of tens of thousands of people on a highway each year. And then he had a baggie with a marijuana cigarette. And he pointed out that people didn't die from it, that it wasn't as addictive, it wasn't as destructive, and that it was illegal. And he proceeded to defend a bill we had on the floor of the House that would have authorized 2 plants for personal consumption. I'm told by knowledgeable people at the Capitol at that time, if the 19 of us who voted for it had been joined by the people who voted no but smoked dope, then it probably would have passed, and Oregon would have been the first state to legalize adult use. At the same time, Oregon was having this discussion about a more rational approach to marijuana. We were watching at the federal level a war on drugs being launched in the Nixon administration. And it had a much different approach to marijuana. The legacy of that war on drugs was classifying marijuana as a Schedule I drug. The consequences of that are legion. First and foremost, as you know, classifying marijuana as being as dangerous as heroin or LSD is simply false. It's false. Telling people that it is more dangerous than cocaine or methamphetamines, Schedule II, the meth epidemic that is destroying rural and small-town communities, suggests we've got our priorities upside down. It also suggests to me part of a need to reappraise what can only be described as a failed war on drugs. We're spending $25 billion a year. We are arresting 750,000 people a year for something that most Americans now think should be legal. And there are, as you're well aware, some of the most egregious racial disparities targeting young African American men greater than any other sector of the population, even though their use is no greater, maybe even a little less, than white young men. And there are people doing time now as a result of the consequences of this act. We've been involved in Congress in an effort to help rationalize our drug treatment, drug approaches. Part of it is to make sure that the federal government is not interfering in medical marijuana. Part of the lie in federal statute as a category with Schedule I narcotic, it has no medicinal therapeutic value. Not true. And luckily, voters starting in California in 1996 as the first state, followed by Oregon in the next election. We now have 21 states and the District of Columbia representing over 106 million Americans who have access that's legal under state law to medical marijuana. A million Americans now are legally authorized to have access, and I have heard countless stories about the difference that it has made in their lives. Part of what we're doing in Congress, and I will tell you, I'm encouraged because we now have 13 pieces of legislation, most of it bipartisan, to try and bring some sense into this upside-down world that is marijuana regulation in the United States. We have legislation and bipartisan support to stop the lunacy of making legal marijuana businesses be all cash enterprises. What's the logic here? If you care about money laundering, if you care about tax evasion, or just burglary, forcing perfectly legal enterprises to pay their taxes with a shopping bag full of $20 bills, doesn't make any sense at all. Or because of a quirk in the tax law, forcing them to pay 2 and 3 times higher tax rates, again for perfectly legal businesses, is wrong. But I will tell you, some of you are familiar with a conservative Republican tax advocate, Grover Norquist. Grover was with me at a press conference for my bill to allow legal marijuana businesses to deduct their business expenses. That's how far we're coming. That's how far we're coming. Wednesday, on the floor of the House, I had an amendment that would have allowed our veterans to be able to talk to their VA doctors about marijuana. Why should our veterans be treated as second-class citizens in those states where medical marijuana is legal? Why should they not be able to talk to their primary doctor about whether it's right for them or wrong? We weren't successful, but we got 195 votes, including 24 Republicans who said, this doesn't make any sense. And I was told by one of my Republican co-sponsors of the legislation that he was convinced that there were 12 or 13 Republicans who, if they better understood it, would have voted with us. We're on the move in the United States Congress. We passed an amendment that allows research agriculture institutions to research industrial hemp, which passed with a significant yes vote. We now have a dozen states that are poised to allow industrial hemp production, and we have signals from the administration that these are part of the smaller fish that the administration's not going to fry, that we'll be able to proceed with this. And it's about time. Some of you have been involved with trying to promote not just the use of legal hemp products, which of course they are, and they're sustainable and they're beneficial. It's just that Oregon farmers and ranchers can't grow it. Kentucky tobacco farmers can't grow it. It's got to be imported from outside the United States. But we're turning the corner on that. We have to do a better job, I think, of breaking the stranglehold of this pernicious classification that prevents research into marijuana. Excuse me. Up on the Hill, I met with neurologists, people who are dealing with problems of our children. They talked about those with violent epilepsy. Getting all choked up here. These parents are willing to move their families to be able to have access to medical marijuana that will prevent these violent seizures. But the scientists cannot get marijuana to study what works and why. That's an outrage. Let me cut to the chase. Oregon was a leader 40 years ago in decriminalization. Oregon has a chance to be the explosion that breaks the dam on marijuana policy nationally. It's great what we have in Washington and Colorado. It's great that we've got 21 states in the District of Columbia with medical marijuana, but we're just on the cusp right now of changing national policy once and for all. It'll be great in Alaska if this summer they legalize adult use, but Alaska is sort of up there and out there. I don't think the land of the midnight sun and Sarah Palin is going to start a national trend. It's great that medical marijuana is on the ballot in Florida this year. 700,000 signatures. But given the Florida Constitution, it'll require a 60% less yes vote to pass, and that's questionable. Here in Oregon, we have an opportunity to cast a ballot for a rational marijuana policy that will be followed across the country. It'll open the floodgates in California in 2016, and we can get down to business. We can tax it, regulate it, keep it out of the hands of the kids, and stop interfering with people's lives. I'd ask you to study it, get involved, sign a petition, and spread the word so that we can have success this November. Oregon can do it. Thank you very much.
Congressman Blumenauer, everyone. Oh my goodness. It feels so good. What an Oregon privilege to have such a distinguished leader. You know, you guys elected him all the way back in 1996 to the House of Representatives, and he's been going ever since, championed so many causes on the Oregon level and the national level. You guys heard him right there. He's talking Oregon. He's ready to push Oregon as a leader of states. So exciting. Another point is you guys don't forget, speaking of voting, voting's coming up in November, and you guys are going to see Congressman Earl Blumenauer's name on the ballot. Even though you're not going to see an opponent, still mark his name. He is no blank candidate. He is an elected candidate, and we want to elect him ourselves and keep this going. Thank you, Congressman Blumenauer. What a privilege.
He's a hit at the Hempfest rallies and a kick at the hemp stalk too. Strutting his fudge and brownies that he wants to share with you. 'Cause he's the candy man, a sugar shaking fudge making brownie baking son of a gun. 'Cause he's the candy man, a sugar shaking fudge making brownie baking son of a gun. Truck. Give a sweetness to the brew, 'cause he's the candy man, a sugar shaking fudge making brownie baking son of a gun. He's the candy man, a sugar shaking fudge making brownie baking son of a gun. Do the strut. Sugar shaking fudge making brownie baking son of a gun. Woo! He's the candy man, a sugar shaking fudge making brownie baking son of a gun. Take it away.
Right.
Yay! Hey, hey, hey.
Hustling on down, hustling street. Rag man, rag woman, paper bags full. Street age alert in tinted child's eyes. Sidewalk playgrounds, got to beware. Junk man's in the shadows, dealing his junk. Beautiful sisters deal themselves around. Beautiful brothers, not so beautiful anymore. So much older, than the day before. Ain't everybody tired of being poor? Message in the scroll, message on the wall. Graffiti man's got something to say. Now, something's wrong, not our fault. We gotta be cool. Our time will come. Open spaces on shopping center walls. Middle class man, middle class land. Clean enough to be a family affair. Nice place to take white-eyed child. Controlled climates, neat little shops all laid out. Everything for sale, by cash or plastic. Price not negotiable, but payment is. Spend some money, buy some more. Graffiti man's got something to say. Message in the scroll, message on the wall. Put on blinders, dull the senses. Who's worth more than money they spend? Skyscraper building, corporate corridor. High finance, big businessman suit. Not stained by sweat or blood or money. Sophistication smiles, hide stain and decay. Dividing profits among themselves. Spoils of war, or spoils of war, says junk man, owner of the junk. Graffiti man's got something to say. Message in a scroll, message on the wall. Down with bosses, no more bosses. Something's gotta change. Something's gotta change.
We have dedicated the Hymposium. It's now the Rick Smith Memorial Hymposium to our brother Rick Smith. Rick Smith, man, what a warrior. I mean, what an inspiration to us all. I mean, he was in hospice in 1996, in hospice, dying. And they said, it's over. You're gonna die. And then he met this community, and he found out about marijuana, and you know what? They kicked him out of hospice because he didn't die. And that was 96. And Rick was with us, man, and Rick was with us, and he was a strong, irie, tenacious fighter. And he finally succumbed this year to the many illnesses he was fighting. And we love our family, we love our community at HempFest. We honor our fallen warriors.
This one's for you, Seattle.
smoke 2 joints in the morning. I smoke 2 joints at night. I smoke 2 joints in the afternoon. It makes me feel alright. I smoke 2 joints in time of peace and 2 in time of war. I smoke 2 joints before I smoke 2 joints, and then I smoke 2 more. Oh, my daddy, he once told me, son, you be hard-working man. Mama, she once told me, son, you do the best you can. But then one day, I met that man who came to me and said, hard work good and hard work fine, but first take care of head. So now I smoke 2 joints when I get up. In the car I smoke 2 joints. I smoke 2 joints when I play video game, and at every 10,000 points I smoke 2 joints. I smoke 2 joints in time of peace and 2 in time of war. I smoke 2 joints before I smoke 2 joints, and then I smoke 2 more. But daddy once told me, son, you'll be hard-working man. Mama, she once told me, son, you'll do the best you can. And then one day, I met that man who came to me and said, what did he say? Hard work good and hard work fine, but first take care of head. So now I smoke 2 joints in the morning. I smoke 2 joints at night. I smoke 2 joints in the afternoon. It makes me feel alright. I smoke 2 joints in time of peace and 2 in time of war. I smoke 2 joints before I smoke 2 joints, and then I smoke 2 more. Smoke 2 joints, that's what I do. Smoke 2 joints. Legal up here. I need a real estate agent. Oh, joints. Come and smoke 2 joints with me in the morning. Come and smoke 2 joints with me in the afternoon. Yeah. Smoke 2 joints. That's what I do. Smoke 2 joints.
When we got nowhere to go, we could light a fire under the sun. We could blast the radio when we got nowhere to go. We could put the car in cruise control. Yeah, yeah, whoa. We could blast the radio when we got nowhere to go. Cause girl, I come a long, long way for you. And you can make the plan, tell me what you wanna do. And I'm the favorite one, you're the one I'll be singing to. Cause girl, I come a long, long way for you. When the time comes, I'll be on the run all the time. I gotta move on to the next one. The minute we'll be back, I don't know. In the meantime, I'll be doing fine. To realize it's really all to say goodbye. And even use the hardest part out the road. We can spend the night under the moon. Forget about the real life and enjoy the view. I get lost in time when I lie down next to you. We can rock the whole night away, nothing I would rather do. I realize normally we would take it slow, without a destination, just spin the globe. We can get high, baby girl, if you're feeling low. And I can promise you tonight, you're the only girl I know. When the time comes, I'll be on the run, and all the time I gotta move on to the next one. And when we'll be back, I don't know. In the meantime, I'll be doing more. Realize really ought to say goodbye. Leaving just the hardest part out the road. We could light a fire under the sun. We could blast the stereo when we got nowhere to go. We could put the car in cruise control. Yeah, whoa. We could blast the stereo when we got nowhere to go. When the time comes, I'll be on the run all the time. I gotta move on to the next one. And when we'll be back, I don't know. In the meantime, I'll be doing fine. Realize it's really all to say goodbye. Leaving us the hardest part of the road. We could light a fire under the sun. Cause girl, I've come a long, long way for you.
Our founding fathers imported hemp into the United States originally.
On the street, I can get on out of town, but this here town's my home. time to exercise our rights and put on a hymn fest. And we'll educate the youth who soon will rule the land. 'Cause it's just a matter of time, and it's time to take a stand. 'Cause it's a losing battle, one that money can't win. Been going on for years, just keeps right on going. Like a cold boy with the commies, prohibition and the right. You can throw us all in prison, but you cannot win the fight. 'Cause it's a losing battle. Time to wake up. Yeah.
In between the blues, there are good days and bad days, with everything and nothing to lose. While the setting sun never sits, and the night has no limits. The void between freedom and free, dealing with the unnatural reality. A need to see, a need to be. Grass fire, my DNA needs THC.
Grass fire in a world at yours. That's the way this fire burns. Like a grass fire.
In the unnatural society, been trying to maintain, while the sane appear to be clearly insane, with no way to explain. Outlasting the great lie, a sparking spark does my mind. Grass fire, pulling the sky, breathing in sativa's design.
Grass fire in a world at yours. That's the way this fire burns. It's a grass fire.
The void between freedom and free, dealing with the unnatural reality. A need to see, a need to be. Grass fire, my DNA needs THC. Dreaming of long times past, all that those times brought, looking to the heart of tomorrow, grass fire in a world that yearns. That's the way this fire burns.
Marijuana turns with me. Girl, I'll take you home. Marijuana smoke for free. Girl, you'll never be alone. Go ahead, lay your fingers there. Girl, I'll fill you with desire. Let me make this crystal clear. My homie Josh, he got that fire. Marijuana, know me, out your window, I can breathe. Marijuana dance with me, good, I'll take you home. Marijuana smoke for free, girl, you'll never be alone. Go ahead, lay your fingers there. Gonna fill you with desire. Let me make this crystal clear. My homie Josh, he got that fire. Marijuana, know me. Out your window, I can breathe. Know me, now so in love, now can breathe, yeah. Marijuana, know me, out your window, I can breathe. Marijuana, know me, out your window, I can breathe, yeah. Hey, thank you very much. We're the Syndicate. Have a nice night.
Okay, it is an amazing plant. That's why we want to legalize it and give our farmers this valuable economic resource to make Oregon the Saudi Arabia of hemp.
Yeah.
So vote for our initiative. Call us and get the petitions. Come in and visit our staff at 2712 Northeast Sandy Boulevard, or call our office at 503-235-4606. And you can go to our web portal at hemp.org. we are about out of time. I want to thank you for coming on, Michael.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jersey.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank
having
you,
me.
Casper. And we are going out on another fantastic song by John Cornette and Corey. So tune in next week and help us restore hemp.
Breathe in the air. Don't be afraid to care.